Hello, Internet. Today I'm going to read you guys another fanfiction as soon as I find my phone charger. Find the way in the dark room. Found it. Okay. So today's fanfiction, I'm going to continue reading Granpa's Way by Anya Hibiki on fanfiction.net. And we're continuing on with chapter 2. I know my way around you. Ryoga woke up in a bed, gazing around confusedly. He hoped it had been all a dream, but he deflated when he recognized his own room. Just my luck, he thought bitterly. It had started like an unusually good day, one of which he rarely had. He woke up that morning in his tent, an immense sense of relief washing all over him. My phone. Then he discovered the reason. He knew exactly where he was. Places and directions crossed his mind, and after a moment of utter shock, he traced the path to his house on his mind and began to follow it. Surprisingly enough, after a few turns here and there, he was standing in front of his own home. And what drew him even more off balance was the fact that his parents were there too. Texting my boyfriend good night. Sending him a cat. After a quick shower and a healthy breakfast, the three of them had moved to the living room to catch up on whatever happened since they last saw each other. It had all been so perfect. He found that his parents had a sense of direction too. And they said it was permanent. They could live together again, not worrying about getting lost, going to the market, or things like that. He'd never been so happy. Of course, no, with Hibiki Ryoga. That couldn't last too long. Flashback. I'm so happy it finally happened. Hibiki Aiko chirped, clasping her hands in front of her. I know, Ryoga, we have a little birthday present for you. Hibiki Kita announced. You do? Of course, son. You turned 18 last week. You thought we forgot about it? No, Dad. It's just, I wasn't expecting to meet you at all, Ryoga explained, a little disappointed that he couldn't spend his birthday with them. He'd been lost in Canada, apparently. And who knows? You didn't have to buy me anything. Oh, but we didn't buy it, dear. I believe it's something that is in the garage right now, his mother grinned. No way, he said unbelievingly. I think you deserve it, son, Kita said, holding up a car key. You're giving me the bento? He asked, his mouth hanging open. His father only nodded. Since we're not getting lost anymore, honey, we don't need it that much. Ryoga loved the car. They had acquired it a few years ago when their older car got crashed. The Hibiki couple loved to travel by car, one of the reasons why they always stuck together. I can't believe it, Dad. Thanks, he said, standing up, getting ready to go for a ride. Actually, it's kind of a bribe. Bribe? Sit down, son. We need to talk, his mother stated. What about? If it's about driving safely... I lost my line again. If it's about driving safely and all that, Mom, you already told me all I need to know. Like 1,000 times, he added the last under his breath. No, Ryoga. It's about another matter. It's about our sudden sense of direction. We need to make it last, and we need you for that. Huh? But you said it was permanent, he was confused. You know the true origin of our curse, right? You said it was a spell cast upon the family. We've never told you the whole story, dear, Mother Hibiki stated. No, actually. Well, I think it's time you learn the truth. After a long story of honor and promises and vengeful men, Ryoga was dumbfounded. Are you really saying that I'm engaged? Yes, sweetie, but shouldn't it have been you, Dad, the one to join the schools? Well, they also had a son, Ryoga. I can't marry another man, Kita said, disgusted at the thought. Ever heard of business associations? Ryoga spat. Kita seemed thoughtful for a moment. It wouldn't work, son. It has to be a bond of honorable marriage. But I don't want to get married, especially to someone I never met. But you have met her, sweetie. It's old Akiro's granddaughter. Grandpa Akiro's granddaughter? I was 2 years old last time I saw her. I don't even remember her name. Ryoga. Why did you never tell me? I could have gotten married to another girl. Sweetheart, I thought things with Akane weren't so good after she found out about your Sinkyo, Aiko asked. Love the fact that Akane is not aware, even though there were several times when she should have found out. Don't know if she was playing dumb or what, whatever. Well, no. She hasn't forgiven me yet, and it's been almost 8 months, but... And that Akari girl you've mentioned once? You can't marry a girl just because you beat a pig. Oh, but I have to marry a girl that doesn't even know me because her grandfather is crazy, he said ironically. Ryoga, don't talk like that about Grandpa Akiro, his father chided, even if it's true. Come on, Dad. It's so unfair. I know, son, but it's the family honor we're talking about here. You're going to marry this girl, and that's the end of the matter, Kita said solemnly, giving his son a hard stare. He grabbed his coat. I'm going to make some errands. I'll be back soon. He kissed his wife on the cheek and left. Ryoga looked down, troubled. He grabbed his head, his frame shaking with anger. So unfair, he repeated, his fist clenching around his hair. Oh, honey, don't be so sad. You're gonna like her so much, his mother started, sitting next to him on the couch. Let me tell you about her. Let's see. She's a few months younger than you. She's almost finished high school. She follows her family's tradition in school of martial arts, so she'll be able to help you with your own dojo. He couldn't even remember what kind of style Grandpa Akiro mastered. It had been a while since he last saw him. He always called him Grandpa, even if he wasn't his real grandfather. And despite her tender age, she runs her own restaurant. Ryoga blinked at the last thing his mother said. Her own restaurant? Yes, and it's here, in Narima. Here, in Narima? He parroted incredulously. Hard word to pronounce. Say those slowly. His eyes widening. Suddenly he remembered Grandpa Akiro all too well. No way. It's not what I'm thinking. Yes, dear, I believe it's called Uchen's? Stalk. Oh goodness, Aiko whispered, clasping her hands. How sweet, he just fainted from happiness. No, Aiko. He did not faint from happiness. End of flashback. Still didn't faint from happiness. A knock on the door broke him out of his thoughts. Come in, he said toneless. It's me, dear, his mother announced, stepping into the room. I wanted to see how you were feeling. Honestly, Mother, I have no idea, he sighed, sitting up on his bed. His mother took a place beside him, pulling him into her arms. Why are you so upset, Ryoga? You seemed like you were going to accept at last, Aiko asked worryingly, brushing his hair with her fingers. Mother, I know this girl. You do? Yeah, she's engaged to Saotome. She was engaged to Saotome. Now, she's engaged to you. I know, Mom, but that's not the point. And what is? Ryoga searched for a way to explain to his mother about his relationship with the Okanami chef. We don't get along well. She's a tomboy. His mother let out a surprised laugh. Oh, honey, that's not so bad, and I'm aware of her situation, so we can't blame her too much about it. Yeah, but, I mean, why her, Mom, he whined. Aiko just chuckled. Since when do you know her? I met her here. I met her about 2 years ago. Why? Just asking, she giggled. It's a nice twist. He just looked at her. Oh, come on, honey. Cheer up. Thanks to that marriage, we can have a normal family. Aren't you glad about that? Ryoga flinched. She had a point there. And she can't be that bad. Are you kidding me? She drags me into stupid plans of hers, and when everything goes wrong, she blames it all on me. He was counting with his fingers. She makes fun of me all the time. She calls me a jackass. She's always beating me with that stupid spatula of hers. After she found out about Yusingio, she keeps splashing me with cold water just to annoy me. She makes me look bad in front of Akane. She's a tomboy, Mom. Ryoga looked indigently at her. Another hard word. Always eyes. I have trouble pronouncing. Finishing his ranting, he goggled. The Hibiki matriarch was tomato red, one hand covering her mouth. She was shaking furiously, obviously trying to hold her laughter. I'm glad I amuse you, Mom. She chuckled, trying to calm down. I think she likes you. Ryoka stared. Okay, I'll make sure she changes all that. No, Mom, you don't understand. I don't want to marry her. Sweetheart, she started, taking his hands in hers. Sometimes we must do small sacrifices to gain big fortunes. Marrying that tomboy is definitely a sacrifice, and not a small one. Maybe, but sometimes they turn out to be just what you were looking for. He sighed. Whatever, Mom. She won't want to marry me either, so there's no point. Oh, honey, she'll whine. Don't worry about it. You'll both do. She retorted with a mischievous grin. Ryoga hated that look. It meant his mother was up to something. He decided to change the subject. Where's Dad? He went to buy you some clothes. You can't wear that tonight. She pointed at Ryoga's usual attire. And nearly anything in your wardrobe fits you anymore. Tonight? Yes, the Kunaji family is coming for dinner, she chirped. Tonight! Now, she grabbed a lock of Ryoga's bangs. Let's do something about this. Ryoga just groaned. That noon, Hana had decided to take her granddaughter shopping. They were surprised to meet the Hibikis They were supposed to meet the Hibikis that morning, but they had decided that it was better to have a big, nice dinner instead. Knowing her grandchild, Hana had said to Yukio that she needed something to wear that night. But the real reason for shopping was to turn Yuchansita into a lady. She knew she couldn't make that happen in just one day, but she definitely had to start right away. So, Granny, what do you want to wear tonight? A dress? A blouse, maybe? We could buy something in that store. She pointed to a lady store at her right. Actually, I packed this beautiful kimono, and it will do for this wonderful occasion. Then why? Yukio paled, realizing her grandmother's intentions. Oh no, Granny, please. Hana smiled. Now, how about a skirt? Okay, kid, try this on. Come on, Dad. Can't you help me out? I really don't want to do this. Your mother already started cooking dinner. Cooking for the night, his father replied. I'm not talking about dinner, Ryoga sighed unhappily. Hito looked at his boy sympathetically. Ryoga, haven't I taught you anything about honor? You've taught me everything about honor, father, he replied, scandalized. Why do you ask me that? Because this is a matter of honor, and you are not being responsible about it as you should be. Hito knew it was a hit below the belt. Ryoga had always been strict to his convictions and values, honor being the strongest of them. It was the only way he came up with at that moment to convince his son. As I taught you to be. Ryoga looked down, hurt. Hito kept a solemn face, but internally was thrilled to see that his little boy had grown into such a good man. You're right, father. It is a matter of honor, and I shouldn't cause you or our family such shame. I'm sorry. It is for the family that you're doing this, Ryoga. I know your grandparents shouldn't have made that promise. All it caused was shame and misfortune, but what is past is past. Now it's up to you to bring our family together again, as it should always have been. He kept looking down, listening to his father's words. I wish I could have raised you by my side. I wish you could have been into your mother's arms when you were just a child. It wasn't fair for us, and it shouldn't continue to the next generations. I'm sure you don't want your children to go through what you've been through. No, father, his voice was heavy with emotion. I don't. Ryoga, I want you to be able to raise your kids. I want you to be able to establish in one place instead of doing odd jobs in every town you stumble upon. I want your mother and I to be able to visit our grandchildren whenever we want, without traveling across the world first. I want you to be able to enjoy a life in a home with your wife at your side, not worrying about going to the bathroom and ending up in Korea. I want a normal life, Ryoga, for your mother and I, and for our grandchildren, and for you. The lost boy looked at his father then, and saw the hope in his eyes. What do you say, boy? Would you give your old man what he wants? Ryoga frowned, resolution plastering across his face. Yes, father, he gulped. I accept the engagement. Damn, I'm gonna be special for the rest of my life, starting tonight. I can't believe I'm doing this. Kita engulfed his son into a bear hug. I'm so proud of you, my child, he said tearfully. It doesn't mean that I like it, Dad, he replied in a muffled voice. I will never like that tomboy. His father chuckled. We'll see about that. They sat in a little cafe, enjoying a snack. Yukio touched her hair for the 100th time. Would you leave it alone, dear? It looks beautiful. I still don't know why I needed a haircut. It's as long as it was before. Yes, but now it looks better. They had gotten rid of the white ribbon. Now her hair fell freely, framing her face. She was strictly forbidden to put it up in a low ponytail. I still think it's stupid. Hana sighed. Her granddaughter was a beautiful girl. It was a shame that she spent so much of her time dressing as a boy. I think Ryoga will like it. I don't care what that jackass thinks. Well, you should. He's your fiancé, after all. Not because I want to, Grandma, she reminded her, still unaccustomed to calling Ryoga her fiancé. Okay, dear, she said. Why don't you tell me what you dislike about Ryoga so much? She gave Yukio a worried look. Now that's easy. And then I'm going to tell you about Ryoga's good qualities. But Grandma, how can you do that if you don't even know him? Sugar, she smiled. I have known Ryoga since he was just a small bundle in his mom and mother's belly. What? Honey, his family and ours have been friends since I was a teenager. Of course I would know him. He even managed to stumble upon my house every now and then. I think he was 15 when he last visited. Hana grew pensive. Oh, who would have thought? So, okay, Grandma. Not that it will help, though, she added. He gets lost, and even going to the bathroom. Hana looked at her child. He does, she protested. He used to, eldest Kanaji corrected. So that is not a problem anymore. Fine, he's too gullible, too shy, a stubborn mule. Can't talk to the girl he likes without stuttering like an idiot and dashing off. Hana smiled, slightly amused. He's always falling for Ron-chan's pranks, and he's always making himself look like a fool in front of Akane. Well, darling, if you spend your whole life living on the road with almost no human contact whatsoever, it is highly impossible to develop a strong sense of... What? Yukio was looking at her as if he had just stuck a lemon. I've lived on the road for 10 years, Grandma, and I think I'm smart enough to know if someone is trying to fool me. Yet, her grandmother interrupted, you have turned 10 years of pure hate into a devoted love in a nanosecond just because the Satomi voice said you were cute. She looked at her with an air of finality. You gasped in surprise. That's not what... She smiled. Yugo sighed, deflated, and continued. He screws up every plan I have to break up Ron-chan and Akane. Mother Kanaji raised both eyebrows. Break up plans, dear. Yu-Gi-Oh's foot dropped. The point is, he's always screwing up. If he loved Akane like he said he did, he'd done things right. And yet you think that tricking the poor girl is right? Yu-Gi-Oh flinched. Well, and if Ranma would really have had feelings for you, you shouldn't have needed a plan to be with him, you know. I know that now, Granny. He doesn't love me like that. I'm just his old buddy, Yu-chan, she thought bitterly. He turns into a pig. Oh, darling. You've been in love with a man that turns into a girl. I don't see the difference. But he turns into a pig, she yelled, trying to put him down. They both have Jinkiyo curses, dear. If you could accept one, you can accept the other. He's kind of slow, you know, she spat desperately. What do you mean by that, honey? Well, you know, he wouldn't realize something unless you put it right on his face. I've always have to explain things to him as if he were just a child. I must disagree with you, Yukio, again. Ah, Grandma, you can't deny that he's slow. Actually, I think he just analyzes things before he acts. Except when he is fighting Ranma, she chuckled. Besides, as I said before, due to his unusual condition, he pretty much lacks of social skills, being unfamiliar with normal teenagers' behavior. Although I must say that he's the politest young man I have ever met. Yeah, but still, perhaps he doesn't know how to react around people about his age. After all, the only human contact he ever had constantly in his life are his parents and us, and that's so random, too. Yu-Gi-Oh frowned, considering all her grandmother had said. Is there anything else? No, Grandma, that's all, she answered, a little annoyed that she couldn't think of anything else for some reason. Okay, what do you think about what we have discussed? Well, she started. You might have a point or two there. I've never considered those things before. Hana seemed pleased. There is something I have ever admired of him. Even after spending his whole life living in the forest or traveling across the world, Ryoga developed a nice, good-heartedly personality. When he could have grown into a bitter, heartless young man, hating everything. He is a little bitter about it. I mean, he's always so depressed or angry. He's always gloomy. But when he doesn't find himself glooming about his misfortune, he is very polite, honest, nice, selfless, caring young man who likes to help others, isn't he? I don't know about honest, Yukio retorted. There was this little P-chan thing with Akane, which he did confess, probably costing a good friendship and surely the love of the woman he cared about. Even if his motives were to seek shelter in his cursed form, he was torn inside for lying to her, and he risked everything when he couldn't take it anymore. He was masquerading as her pet pig and still had the nerve to claim that he would defend her honor. He comes from a very honorable family. Honor is one of his strongest convictions. And he would do anything for the ones he loves, even if it cost him his own life. How do you know all that stuff about him anyway? He likes to talk with me, dear. Yukio sat speechless across the little table, a little taken aback about having his good qualities thrown at her face. Hana looked expectantly at her. You might be right. A little smile started tugging at her grandmother's lips, but I'm still not marrying that jackass. Hana pinched the bridge of her nose. Oh dear, she said to herself, and she calls him a stubborn mule. Ryoga wandered into the kitchen, where his mother was happily humming a tune while she stirred the pots. Someone still sad, she stated. He leaned on the door frame, petting Shirokuro's head, who was sternly looking at the food, praying for something to drop off the table. I just still can't believe it, Mom. It's so out of the blue, he shook his head. This should happen to Ranma, not me. Maybe we should have told you earlier, son, she added some cinnamon. But with Yukio's situation, we thought it was better to let you know when you'd be able to do something about it. Like getting married, he supplied. Yes, maybe if you told me, things would have been so different. I wouldn't have fallen in love with Kane, what would have saved me a lot of suffering. Maybe I even wouldn't have followed Ranma to China. Ryoga thought. But dear, what were we supposed to say? Ryo, you're engaged, but your father-in-law engaged your fiancé to another man. Well, Ranma does have 3 fiancés. I think Yukio could have handled 2. Ryoga. And then she probably wouldn't have had to dress as a boy, and then she wouldn't be such a big tomboy. Aiko couldn't hold her laughter, and it got worse when her son goggled at her, stupefied. What's so funny, Mom? Oh, honey, she sobered up a little bit. It's different to be friends than fiancés. You'll see that she'll treat you better from now on. Yeah, right. She'll be furious when she finds out that she has to marry someone else that's not her precious Ron-chan, specifically if that someone's me. Aiko started to chop vegetables. How bad does she treat you? Well, she keeps calling me a jackass. That's a Kanaji thing, dear, she giggled. Don't take it personally. Yeah, well, she made it my official nickname, apparently. She hits me with that goddamn spatula a lot. She drags me everywhere. She tugs at my ear. She insults me. She always gets mad at me for something, which most of the cases I didn't do. She uses me to get what she wants and then blames me for everything when it goes wrong. She tricks me, punches me, kicks me, slaps me, mocks me. She's such a tomboy, Mom. Aiko just had to laugh. She hadn't seen Yukio since she was 6, but she could easily see what was going on here. It was simple teenager behavior. Yukio liked her little boy, but probably she didn't even know it yet. Why does this remind me of old times, she thought tenderly. Does it seem like you're always making her mad at you for whatever reason? How'd you know? Oh, just a hunch, she dismissed, hiding her grin. Yep, she definitely knew what was going on here. And how do you feel about her, son? Feel, Ryoga blushed, which she didn't fail to notice. But I don't, Mom. She's a tomboy. Okay, then, what do you think about her? That she's a tomboy, he stated as if it was the most obvious fact in the world. What else about that, the lady patiently asked. That she's a violent, aggressive tomboy? His mother sighed. Let's forget about the tomboyness for a minute. Okay, he stopped for a moment. She can be very nice when I don't piss her off. She gives me free food when she's in a good mood. She's very smart, you know. She's a good listener when she doesn't have a plan going on in her head. She's a great martial artist, probably even better than Akane. I've always thought that if she trains a little more, she could pass Shampoo's level, too. Shampoo, the Amazon from China, another of Ranma's fiancés. Oh, right. She's kind, I guess, he shrugged. Go change her clothes for dear, she commanded softly. She'd had heard everything she needed to hear. Ryoga nodded with resignation and turned to leave. And make sure you wear what your father picked for you, she called after him, hearing an okay coming from the stairs. Aiko trusted her husband's taste. She turned off the stove and went to dress for dinner. No woman can resist the Hibiki charm, she giggled knowingly. And that is the end of chapter 2. And I've been reading this for 20 minutes. And I laughed so much. It's like 10-something. I've left my headset at school, and I can't sleep, so for the next few hours I will be recording these. If there's anything you guys would like me to read, let me know. Leave comments down below and all of that. Feel free to go review the original source material on fanfiction. Link will be in the description. That will be probably it. I want to get started on reading the 3rd chapter, so I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.